This is Gene Bailey. If you're unfamiliar, he runs a TV show called Flashpoint. It's on the Victory Network. It's Kenneth Copeland's TV network, like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. He's doing an episode about Target and Bud Light and all of the protests and boycotts you should be taking part in. You should be boycotting M&M's and Skittles, same company, by the way, but he apparently didn't know that, and Ford and Target and Bud Light. You should be protesting basically anybody to the left of hunting the homeless for sport. That seems to be like the prevailing belief at the moment. So anyways, this is actually part 3. If you haven't seen the others, don't sweat it. This stands independently of the rest. I'll provide context if it's missing. Let's give this a listen and see what he has to say. This is actually this is the second half of the thing, so you're not even missing anything, truthfully. Let's start here. He's about to talk about this guy named Rick Green, who runs like this big nonprofit, I think. It's basically like a right-wing extremist organization that melds church and state inextricably, or attempts to. They teach biblical civics, and as a matter of fact, Lauren Boebert, our old buddy, has even talked about this. This is Lauren Boebert, as a matter of fact, on this TV show, Flashpoint, talking to Gene Bailey. Listen to this. This one is from, 2022, July 14th, 2022. Check it out.
The American people, they have to have faith in us that we will actually do something with our majority, that we will actually secure the southern border, that we will tackle inflation and the energy crisis that is taking place in our country, and get America rolling again. Maybe we need to have some sort of legislation that requires Constitution Alive and biblical citizenship training in our schools.
Seriously, this idea was endorsed by Boebert herself. By a sitting U.S. congressman. No joke. This is crazy stuff, man. Oh, by the way, we're going to be playing Breath of the Wild 2 while we go through this. It's a pretty early save file. Anyways, Boebert has been spreading this biblical civics meme that Gene Bailey's about to talk about. So give this a listen.
I want to take just a little detour here about something we've been working with Rick Green on. Rick Green, Patriot Academy, Flashpoint, we come together. We were going to do this year and found out Rick had already done it. So we came together to present to you biblical civics. Now, if you're like me, you didn't pay attention. I know you guys hear me talk about this all the time. You weren't paying attention in high school about biblical civics. You didn't think you needed to. Well, now we all know you should have paid attention. It's not too late. You can catch up. All you got to do is go to biblicalcivics.com, and for a gift of any amount, I believe is the way he set it up, you can download or purchase, if you want to purchase the hard stuff, the DVDs and the book and everything, you can do it that way, or just download it. Go in there. Even if you never come to a meeting, go to biblicalcivics.com, download the information.
Again, I'm not going to advertise for these people, but this is a plain attempt to get people to buy into their nonsense desperately. To spread the idea that it's virtuous to be a right-wing religious extremist and that it's virtuous to infect the state with the church.
It will help you and you will not be bored to tears. I promise you that. It's done in a very good way. And the DVDs and all the stuff's got a lot of great people. You got the Bartons are in there, Kirk Cameron, a lot of folks are in there.
Fascinating, this guy mentioned Barton, David Barton. And he said the Bartons, probably referencing Tim and David. Tim is David's son. Tim Barton, David Barton. Anyways, David Barton, as it turns out, came up with like a bunch of nonsensical garbage, basically. He's the one that pioneered a lot of the false claims, like the false claim that the U.S. is built on, or the U.S. is a Christian nation, or that the founders wanted it to be a Christian nation or whatever. No, that's simply false. This is fascinating. You guys may have heard of the Black Robe Regiment, right? Maybe. This group of pastors in the 1800s who were in favor of fighting the Revolutionary War, mostly late 1700s, and they took off their robes, their pastors' robes, and created a militia, right, in their church. Like, they militarized their churches. If they didn't have a gun already, they made sure they got one, and they taught them effective military training, their parishioners, so that they would fight in the Revolutionary War, because that's what the pastors believed in. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they were pushing for. And these people here, particularly David Barton, spreads this idea that there was a Black Robe Regiment that went around trying to militarize their churches, and that if you're a pastor, you should also be militarizing your church. Now, that's some haunting shit right there, right? As it turns out, that term, Black Robe Regiment, is completely made up. Fabricated. Not real. Okay? It was made up by, as far as anybody can tell, David Barton. It was made up in the 1990s. If you search Google Books, the term Black Robe Regiment doesn't appear anywhere in any Google Books up until the 1990s, roughly, when David Barton first started talking about this stuff. No joke. It's fake, okay? It was always fake. So anyways, as far as anyone can tell, the term the Black Regiment, at best, came from a Massachusetts regiment of military people who were black. They were fighting in Massachusetts as a black group of military fighters or whatever. Dude, this probably is not safe, honestly. I should jump away. I'm not 100% sure how to get to that otherwise. I suppose I could just jump into this water, but if I aim wrong, then I kind of get screwed. So anyways, yeah, David Barton made up the term Black Robe Regiment among many, 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 many other terms. Just whole cloth. Yep, I died. Wow, that sucks. Whole cloth made them up. They're fake. That's David Barton for you. That's the kind of person he is. That's the kind of thing that he's done in the past. And apparently he's on this, what, did they say DVD set or something? Those are the people they're getting on to fabricate stories and pretend that they're real. David Barton is a friend of Kent Hovind, by the way. He was also the leader of a super PAC for Ted Cruz long ago, back in 2016. Just a short history of him, if you're unfamiliar. And eventually, that super PAC was absorbed by Donald Trump. So after that point, David Barton became the leader of a Trump super PAC. Like millions, maybe billions of dollars circulated through this guy's hands, basically. And he's one of the chief propagandists for the right. Anyway, yeah, let's keep listening here. And he says Kirk Cameron is on this DVD or whatever it is, or what was it, like an appearance they were going to do or something? I don't know. That's funny.
All the stuff's got a lot of great people. You got the Bartons are in there, Kirk Cameron, a lot of folks are in there. We're talking about what this nation was really founded upon, and that's why you need to be a part. So go to biblicalcivics.com and download it. And
just psychotic, dude. Straight up psychotic, honestly, like all of it.
Get with it, you guys, all right? No happiness sessions here. Get with that, and that'll truly make you happy. Luke Ball, I understand.
Shit, I was hoping I'd be able to make that jump. I guess not.
And that you might...
One way that this game is different, I'm sorry, I'm just going to step back and say this. One way this game is different is it's a lot harder. Like, really, really, really hard. They removed any items that let you have extra hearts, like buffer hearts or like bonus hearts or whatever, that disappear after you lose them. They removed the vast majority of items that did that for you. I can't crawl down here. So it's just a long series of getting your shit fucked constantly. Basically what it is. But it's so phenomenally good, this game is. Oh, I love this game to death. One of my favorite games of all time. In fact, I'm not sure which I like more, this or Breath of the Wild. I like them both. Anyway, let's keep listening to these Nutter Butters.
With it, you guys, all right? No happiness sessions here. Get with that, and that'll truly make you happy. Luke?
That's a reference to supposedly the FBI did, quote-unquote, happiness sessions. Like, everything that these people say is nonsensical garbage, like all of it. Embarrassing, painful, sad. Seriously, it's cringe incarnate. Why won't it let me? There we go. Okay. You know what? No. Nope. Going back up. Not doing that. My mistake. Dude, I don't know how to get to this shrine. How the hell do I get to the shrine? I don't think I can get down from here. I might have to go to the... You know what? I'm going to zip over to the other shrine and walk from there. Give that a shot. Anyway, let's give this a listen here.
Luke Ball, I understand that you might need some... We may need to send you your own copy of Biblical Civics because I'm not sure you're up to speed on everything. Have you done...
Luke Ball is a propagandist for the right, a political strategist for at least Madison Cawthorn and Matt Gaetz, and I think other congressmen also, like Bo Bear and Marjorie Taylor Greene. I believe he's theirs. But anyway, he's a propagandist for the right, plain and simple. That's what he does.
Downloaded it yet?
No, I haven't downloaded it yet. I'm going to have to go do it. So make sure that you go to biblicalcivics.com and I'll log on
Oh my God, this is painful. Come on, people.
While we're talking to John Solomon or somebody and make sure that I go ahead and order my copy.
All right. Well, pay attention. I may come to you at any moment.
Okay. All right. I'll be ready.
All right. So, John Solomon, for the break, I teased everybody that you wrote a book. I know what everybody's thinking. This book is not what we would think John Solomon would write. But the title of the book, Hidden Headlines. Sounds like a real...
Oh, it's a children's book. Right. Yeah. There's been a huge push on the right to produce as many children's books as possible. It's absolutely psychotic. And you know why? Do you know why they've been doing that? Let me just show you. In an episode on Valentine's Day 2023, Gene Bailey said this about propagandizing to children. This is why they write children's books.
You know, when we look back on Hitler went for the youth. The enemy always goes for the youth. We must take up arms and go for our youth.
Okay, I think he missed the point of the message and defined himself as the enemy, right? He says the enemy always goes for the youth. We must go for the youth. Just right over his head, apparently. Anyway, that's all we needed to hear. So this guy wrote a book, apparently. Hidden Headlines, a Seymour Clues mystery. Now, I think I've gone through this book, and there's nothing, like, overtly bad about it. I mean, some of the books are really questionable and weird and have really bizarre sections in them. But by and large, I think they're mostly okay. I mean, they don't really propagandize too heavily. This one, at the very least. And they're mostly messages that I can stand for, that I appreciate, that I agree with. Yes, absolutely, you know. It's good to support your family and love them or whatever. That kind of thing. But they're like putting a Republican extremist twist on it. It's just bizarre.
Bruiser of a book. But John, what is this book about? Doesn't look like a journalistic fiasco here in front of us. What is Hidden Headlines about?
Yeah, listen, if you told me a couple of years ago that on my resume I might one day write children's author, I would have said, no way, not a chance. It's literally rooted in the experience I've had as a journalist. The last couple of years, as my own stories were being censored about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and corruption and things about election integrity, and then later...
Oh, my God. All of this is just right-wing nonsense. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, election integrity, it's all garbage, dude. All of it. Every last bit of it. It's embarrassing and sad.
About the origins of COVID-19, I couldn't believe...
Oh, God, the origins of COVID-19. He's one of those people.
...that not only were not people in my profession outraged, because the free press relies on the First Amendment, but large amounts of American generations were not at all upset that mass censorship is going on. And I was bewildered.
Okay, mass censorship is not going on by the government in the United States. That's not happening. Now, different platforms have chosen not to host extremist messages or messages that perpetuate lies about COVID. That's their choice as a company. Their First Amendment right as a company. Like, as a company owner, the owner of Facebook or whatever, as if he's even left-wing, has the right to say or endorse or whatever, any position he wants. That's perfectly legal. Whether you like that fact or not, it's not a violation of your, freedom of speech. It's simply not. You could say your freedom of expression is being stifled. That's more the concept than the constitutional amendment, but even then, it's just nonsense.
For a while. And I did a little journey of self-discovery, and I started to realize that there were those one or two generations of young adults now in the workforce, now in the political electorate, that went to school and they weren't taught the civics lessons that you and I were taught. They weren't taught about the Bill of Rights. They weren't taught why the First Amendment was first. They weren't taught that free speech was essential to a constitutional republic and the ability of a people to speak truth to power and to object to their government when necessary.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with all of that. How is any of this being like violated or stifled or whatever in any way? How is any of this true? This is complete garbage. Every last bit of it. This guy is desperate to portray himself as a victim, and it's painful and embarrassing. Wait, where are my bright bloom seeds? I had a bunch. Why aren't they putting them at the front? That's weird. Whatever.
In fact, some of them told me, and this is really interesting, some of these young adults, when I went on this journey of self-discovery, told me they actually were taught in school that censorship might be a good thing, that there would be times where the government would censor information, and that would be...
Okay, who said that? He's using weasel words, by the by. Weasel words, if you're unfamiliar, are some ambiguous reference to an authority, like without specifying who that authority is. Anytime you hear somebody use the term they are out to get me, they are doing this or that or whatever, that's weasel words, and you should be very, very skeptical of whatever comes next. It's almost certainly going to be a blatant lie, especially if it's coming from these people.
Be good for what they said, the larger collective. I have no idea what the larger collective is. Sounds like something off the Star Trek episode, but they had been fed these things, and I was shocked. And so I said to myself,
yeah, I would be shocked too, because it's fake.
Listen, if an opportunity presents itself, I want to do something for moms, dads, aunts and uncles, grandmas and grandpas, that maybe they can share with their children the lessons of the Constitution, of the Founding Fathers, of free speech, the Bill of Rights, that maybe educators are not going to give them in school. We've just assumed that it was being fed to them. Instead, they were being fed CRT and ESG and DEI.
Dude, what are all these acronyms that he's upset about? CRT and ESG and DEI, what? DEI, for the record, is the Department of Equity and Inclusion, and most companies are legally required to have one of these because there are anti-discrimination laws in the U.S. So I'm not sure, is that what he's upset about right now? Anti-discrimination laws?
Whatever other alphabet soups we can come up for the liberal agenda. So we wrote a book. The book is actually features my son's hamster. I have an autistic son. He's got a hamster named Chunk. I famously lost him one day. I had to spend hours on my knees looking for him with a stethoscope. I found him. I dodged that bullet. But we decided to make Chunk a national figure. And he's a mythical newspaper editor. He's the editor of Hamster Headlines. And he's trying to get his newspaper out to the hamster village and a mean old koala bear named Carl. Yes, he is modeled after Karl Marx.
Oh, my God. He modeled the villain after Karl Marx. This is painful, dude. This is straight up painful.
Clogs the tubes in the hamster village, and he can't get the newspaper out. And the editor, Chunk, wants to tell his a community that there's about to be a flood that's very dangerous. And so children learn that free speech and censorship comes with a consequence. A fun dog comes along. He's a detective dog named Seymour Clues. He solves a mystery. They get the news out, and the village is saved at the end. But
Seymour Clues is the dog's name. Seymour Clues. Clever, huh?
It is a classic children's book. It's got great artistry. Brave books are some of the most blessed thinkers in the literary space today. They're doing amazing things. And
Brave books he just mentioned there, if you don't know them. I have a YouTube channel, Telltale Reads, where I read books by these people, by extremists. Brave Books was created by Kirk Cameron, I believe. And he put up the money for it. He hosts it. He does all the work for it and everything. And yeah, it's just pure, unadulterated propaganda 24/7. Again, a lot of the things that I find in Brave Books aren't really objectionable. It's the underlying belief system that's being communicated to children that's objectionable. By and large, I think that they wrote the books to be something that moderates could get on board with, not overtly extreme and crazy, but they wanted to insert the message anyways, like the extremist message. So they did include a section at the back of each book in most of the Brave books anyways. about how you can apply this to, how you can make this a more extreme message. Like, they'll have a book that's really vague, it vaguely gestures about the evils of communism and the good of capitalism, but it won't really be specific enough for you to fully pick up on. But at the end of the book, they have a whole section dedicated to drilling this point home, teaching children the extreme message that they intended to teach them, basically.
They took our ideas and they brought them to life with a visual and an encapsulating story for children. But it's an opportunity for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, auntie, and uncle to sit down and say, hey, you might not hear this in school, but free speech is free for a reason in this great country.
Oh, that's excellent.
Free speech is free for a reason, he says. Oh, my God, it's painful.
Free speech. That's great. All right, so all you guys know what to do. How can they get this book and find out more about it?
It's available at bravebooks.us.
Yeah, he's advertising. I mean, like I said, I have bought a ton of books from Brave Books. I talk about a lot of this stuff because it's absolutely unglued from reality and fascinating for that reason. And really, really valuable to kind of talk about the propaganda methods that are used. It's valuable because that's all this is, pure unadulterated propaganda.
Books.us. And this month, you can get it free. We don't get many things free in the current economy with all of our inflation, but Brave Books will give you a book free this month if you sign up for their monthly book club, so you keep getting books like this. If not, you can buy it a la carte, bravebooks.us.
Wow, sounds like charity to me. Sounds like something we should shun and detest.
Chance to hang out with Kirk Cameron in the land where liberty was born, Philadelphia. We met with hundreds of parents and children, and the hunger for these sort of books that Brave Books are producing is very real. There are moms and dads that want this as an alternative to the garbage they're getting fed in libraries and schools right now.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. People aren't being fed garbage in libraries. It's called basic education.
Yeah, that's so true. All right, so Brave Books, good job. Another book for your kids, your grandkids. Say you don't have grandkids yet. All right, Grandma, Grandpa, you may not be a grandparent yet. You might as well start getting those books.
Dude, how the hell do I get to this shrine? I was right over top of it. I have to be down here where this device dispenser is, I think. It should be near this device dispenser. It should be, but it's not. So I think if I'm on the other side, let me try going to the other side, see if I can drop down.
Building your library because they're coming to visit. Do that. Get the Brave Books. Go to hankandbrenda.org and get all of Hank's stuff as well.
Oh, yeah. Hank Kunneman, he's a televangelist, too, and he has a propaganda comic series. I've talked about that on my main channel. It's called Captain Zepto. It's insane. Well,
all the good stuff that's there. Captain Zepto. We are behind the 8 ball. Here, Lucas Miles, let me go back to you. The church really has been behind in a lot of these things. I mean, think about it. It's great now that we're seeing so many people come forward with good Christian books for kids. But the thought...
Dude, where the hell is this shrine? I've completely forgotten. I've almost beaten this game. I've done everything except go to Ganon. I have no clue how to get to this shrine. I don't even remember. I guess I'm going to go down here. Is it down here maybe it's underneath in this mine? I've already been through this mine all the way through from beginning to end. So it only makes sense that I would go up, right? I don't know where I'm going.
It's like, now why did we not do this before? We thought somebody else was doing it.
Look, I think that this escapist, framework for the church has really affected us in some negative ways. I think, we're all, as believers, we're looking up to the sky, waiting for the Lord to come and redeem the church and to be able to...
Dude, there is a siren outside that is so heckin' loud. Okay, let's try again.
Framework for the church has really affected us in some negative ways. I think, we're all, as believers, we're looking up to the sky, waiting for the Lord to come and redeem the church and to be able to spend eternity with him. And we should be doing that, but we have to keep in mind also in the meantime that we're supposed to occupy until he comes. And so, we have...
See, that's the key right there. We have to occupy until he comes. These people say that. That's like a phrase that they repeat constantly. It's an extremely important phrase to them because these people are what's called Dominionists. They believe that they must control the government if Jesus is to return. That's kind of the accepted belief. If they don't control the government, Jesus may never come back. So they're going to do everything that they can to propagandize and lie and twist things around and control the government at any cost, basically. Absolutely unglued from reality. Seriously, I have no idea where this shrine is. Oh god, I can't use Hero's Path either because it's too early in the game. Shit. Alright, well, let's just follow this train car up, or this cart, or whatever.
We have to do both. We have to keep one eye watchful for the Lord, preparing our heart for his return while we are still engaging with society, sharing the gospel, and really ensuring that we are living in such a way that allows righteousness to thrive in our society. And I think the church has really struggled with that second part, and as a result, we've just kind of been, we're getting out of here soon, so we're just going to let the world go, and I think that we're paying really the consequence and the price for that now.
Guys, please get help. Really.
I think you're right. I mean, it was that way in the 70s, I remember. Somebody told me it was that way in the 70s.
Sorry, let me step back.
Part, and as a result, we've just kind of been, we're getting out of here soon, so we're just going to let the world go, and I think that we're paying really the consequence and the price for that now.
Again, they need Jesus, or they need to control the U.S. government for Jesus to come back. That's kind of how their belief system operates.
I think you're right. I mean, it was that way in the 70s, I remember. Somebody told me it was that way in the 70s. I don't really know. All right, John, I know you're about to get you.
This is so stupid.
We're going to have to cut you loose here, but watch this clip about what's happening with the Durham report. I want to get your input.
Oh my God, the Durham report. Okay, let me tell you about the Durham report real quick. Just a 15-second update on what it is and why it's important. John Durham was assigned as a special prosecutor, I believe, to prosecute or to investigate or whatever. I think Hillary Clinton, or I'm not sure, just Trump's enemies, basically. Anybody that was an enemy of Donald Trump during Trump's campaign, or maybe 2016, I don't remember exactly when he was assigned. He came up with nothing. There was effectively, oh wow, there's the shrine, okay. Did I just sneak my way in? How did I get up here? Okay. Yeah, I just went to the Shrine of Awakening, or the Room of Awakening, or whatever, and here's the shrine. That's weird. Just kind of jumped through the floor. Anyway, sorry guys, could not find that thing.
Watch this.
House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan formally requesting Special Counsel John Durham to appear before Congress to discuss the Durham report. So far, the White House is refusing to comment on that as well. You lived it. You know what went on in terms of the Durham probe and the Russia collusion lie. Will there be accountability here?
Yeah, the Durham report was just complete garbage. Dude, where's the other raft? I've been waiting for this bad boy for like ever. I just want to attach. Where did it go? It was underneath there and now it's gone. I don't understand. All right, I'm going to stand here, wait for it.
There has to be, and Maria, it's not just me who knew, you knew it, and you got criticized for speaking the truth, and that's what's wrong. Is CNN talking about this? Is the White House talking about this?
No.
Listen to what has happened.
They're not talking about this because it's garbage. It's nonsense. The Durham report showed basically nothing, okay? Nothing. Seriously, I'm not actually sure how to do this one. I might end up looking this one up. Yeah, I'm not. Am I supposed to, no, that's not going to work. Okay. I'll try not to break it. Let me just try doing this the normal way. I'm going to move this thing over and let it do its thing. Go ahead. Go into the little box there and go away. There you go. I'll wait for the next one, and I'll try jumping on it.
They took America through an impeachment over a lie that they knew. Yeah. You had Adam Schiff, who was chairman.
Adam Schiff? You mean Adam Schiff?
Of the Intel Committee, lying day after day to the American public that he had proof, that he knew the proof. Now we're finding in the Durham report his own staff are threatened witnesses. I mean, why is this individual still even in Congress, and why does he think he can even run for higher office after what he did?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I'm lost. I have no idea. Is there something over here that I'm missing? What am I missing here? I must be missing something, right? Oh my God, I am. I am an idiot. I cannot believe I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry. Look, I'm still new to this, okay? Give me a break. I've nearly beaten the game, but I'm new to it.
When you look at Hillary Clinton, she created this.
Yeah.
The FBI paid people and knew it was false. This is why we created the weaponization committee when I became speaker.
Yeah.
This is what we knew about. Now we have even more proof about it. Now it's time that people have consequences for their actions, and you've got to clean this up where this can never happen again.
Yeah.
When you talk about the threat to democracy, this is exactly what we're talking about.
Whoa, okay, then it means nothing. The Durham report was fabricated nonsense.
And it
They
divided
threatened
the
the
country.
democracy of the American public.
And
Yes.
it divided the country so much, it's unbelievable that finally we get the Durham report and the mainstream media is blowing it off as if it's no big deal.
It's because it's no big deal. It's nonsense. All of it. Seriously. Oh, God, I'm going to die. Okay, I didn't die. I just got pushed out from under.
You know, speaking of First Amendment, John, Maria Bartiromo is exactly right. It seems
No, she's not. She's insane.
like nobody's talking. Is the mainstream media so heavily in the progressive back pocket, or vice versa, whatever it is? Is that that they're totally discounting this? That's question one. And second, why was there no teeth to the Durham report? Why are there nobody being indicted?
I wonder, why isn't anyone being indicted for this? So weird, huh? Who could ever tell? Why isn't anyone being indicted? We'll never know.
Why are we not seeing anything? It seems pretty vanilla to me. I want to get your input before you have to go.
Yeah, let's start with the why there be no charges. John Durham tried to bring a couple charges in the city of Washington, D.C., where all of these alleged crimes occurred, right? And a jury with compelling evidence that two witnesses lied to the American public, misled the federal government, refused to find them guilty, even though the evidence really showed that there was evidence of guilt there.
Those jurors refused to find them guilty. Isn't that wrong? How wrong of that jury to refuse such a thing.
Now, they're acquitted in our system. I understand they're innocent forever now. But I think John Durham read that in a city with 90% Democrats, he would not be able to bring any more charges. And so he decided to just lay out the facts in a very neutral way. And we learned a lot of things there, a lot of things we knew from my reporting and Maria's work and Sarah Carter's work.
Just absurd, dude. And you know what else is absurd to me? And honestly, sad and border, like, kind of disgusting a little bit? The fact that this guy fancies himself some kind of an expert because he writes for a propaganda network. He is in no way an expert. In no stretch of the imagination, an expert on anything, honestly. But he wants to portray himself that way, so he's going to pretend to have some kind of fabricated expertise. Embarrassing.
There's a bigger issue here. You know, when I think of Your Great Show, I think of truth. Truth is such an important thing, and it's at the heart of Your Great Show. It also was at the heart of the founding of our country. Our founding fathers said at the beginning of our founding documents, we find these truths to be self-evident. There is a media industry, a democratic elitist industry, a Hollywood industry, and now a bureaucratic industry, a fourth branch of government, permanent bureaucracy, that are trying to destroy those truths. And so whatever
Completely made up, of course. I'm sure I don't need to say that. I just want to put it on record.
Adam Schiff has done to mislead the American people, whatever the New York Times has done to mislead the people, they're not only misleading us in the moment, they're destroying larger truths about our country and about our Constitution and about the rule of law that we've lived under. That's why this moment we're in is so essential, why it's so important for us to no longer be silent. It's not enough to be a silent majority anymore. Silence is complicity at this moment. So I think the destruction of truth is really...
Silence is complicity. You're complicit with these big evil people, this cabal. And the Durham report was all 100% real. Absolutely.
Really what's been going on in the media, government bureaucrats, big tech, all working together.
I did not mean to step off of that thing just now. You know what? I'm just going to zip over to this shrine so I don't die.
Censorship, truth destruction. That's why our country is in such a perilous moment.
John, thank you for coming by tonight, being on Flashpoint. You're welcome back anytime. Hope you'll come back.
Great honor. I'll see you in Orlando.
Yes, sir.
God, this dude is nuts.
Sure, see you then. All right, so Luke Ball, let me go back to you here. Speaker McCarthy talking about accountability. You heard John Solomon's comments. What's your opinion there? Are we going to see something, or is it just, I mean, is it that we're going to continue to sweep this under the rug in the?
Okay, they're not sweeping anything under the rug, and they're not going to see anything, quote unquote. They're not going to see any of these, what do you call it? Like, they're not going to see any of these indictments from the Durham report. You know why? Because the Durham report was fabricated from the start. It was always fabricated outrage, and it didn't turn anything up, and nothing's going to happen as a result. These people are going to complain like they're persecuted.
Mainstream media.
Well, I worked on Capitol Hill during the entire Russia collusion hoax, and every single piece of evidence that we got out with my boss working on the House.
The Russia thing, I can't let this slide. It was not a hoax. The Russia thing was 100% real. Okay? You know why? Okay, it was something called Crossfire Hurricane, Operation Crossfire Hurricane. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this before, but Donald Trump was investigated by the FBI in 2016 before he was elected in Operation Crossfire Hurricane because the FBI was monitoring a bunch of like Russian operatives, people that were known to be Russian spies, and Donald Trump and his family kept calling these people bizarrely. Like, what the fuck? Why are you calling known Russian spies? So they investigated, and that was the Mueller probe, basically. And they determined that, in fact, there was collusion. There was collusion between Donald Trump and his family and Russia. There absolutely was. But Trump runs around saying, no collusion, no collusion, no collusion, as though it makes it true to just say it. It's not. Trump colluded with Russia, with Putin, to get himself into the White House and succeeded. I just want to put that on record. Don't let him get away with changing this.
Entire Russia collusion hoax, and every single piece of evidence that we got out with my boss working on the House Judiciary Committee pointed to the fact that our intelligence agencies and federal government were weaponized against the Republican Party and in particular Donald Trump. What John Solomon just talked about in addition to this whole Russia collusion hoax was also how Adam Schiff played into a lot of this. McCarthy mentioned it too. Adam Schiff was on the forefront of this issue, trying to say that he was the one leading the charge. He said that there was actual evidence of Russia collusion. He lied.
There is absolutely evidence of Russia and Donald Trump colluding with each other. That is absolutely 100% true. And Mueller's report did not exonerate Donald Trump. It didn't say he's innocent of any collusion. It didn't even come close to saying that. But William Barr, the Attorney General at the time, got his hands on the report before anybody else, before the public did. So he released the report with a summary that says Trump has been exonerated, even though he wasn't. Complete fabrication. Manafort and Flynn were working directly for Putin. Absolutely. 100% correct on that. Manafort went to jail for like, what was it, 20 years or something? I don't know. And Flynn went to jail too, as a matter of fact. But he was pardoned by Donald Trump.
Lied repeatedly. He made up a fake transcript in a House committee hearing. He made up a whistleblower, basically said that he had lied about not interacting with that whistleblower. And then he said that there was actual evidence of Russia collusion. You know, anywhere else in America that would get you fired, but in California it'll get you.
Dude, I have no idea what he's talking about right now. It's certainly it's certainly Republican propaganda.
A Senate seat, and that's what he's doing right now. He's trying to run for a higher office. In the United States of America, we should hold our leaders accountable for the fact that their word is actual fact.
Nemo 2. Apparently I missed Tabithug's super chat. I thought I hit it. Missed your chance to talk about Trump, and then you said millions and billions. You got to redo it and do it in a Trump voice. Right? Millions and billions. There you go. I do a really bad Trump voice, I think. I try. One day I will master the art of the Trump voice. Millions and billions, okay? Millions and billions. Yeah, I just can't do it. Anyway, thank you, Tabithug. I appreciate the super chat. And, yeah, I hit the member message, too, so I think we're good to go. Sorry about the wait on that. I want cringe incarnate. Okay, got that. XJW, how do you escape the church medically? I'm not sure I understand what you mean, medically. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses do have, like, medical requirements for their people, but once you leave the church, you just kind of walk out. And, like, they give their people medical directives called no blood cards that you're supposed to carry with you at all times. If you don't have that card with you, you just It just doesn't apply. And it may not apply anyways. The hospital may give you blood despite that. It just kind of depends, you know. Anyway, yeah, thank you for the super chat. I assume that's what you were asking. Hollywood is an anti-Semitic dog whistle. What fun. Oh, absolutely. It's absurd and sad and embarrassing. Wait, do I jump here? I think I jump, right? Don't I jump? Yeah, I jump. And yeah, I'm diving. Right, I'm supposed to land in the water now. Yeah. That's it. I don't know if you guys knew this, but this slows your descent to a crawl. When you're falling, you pull out your little thing. It didn't used to be like that. It used to be like you would continue falling at the same rate. But you're still falling, but it's really, really slow. Anyway, you need to use the hands to get the voice right. Oh, yeah, my mistake. Yeah, I guess the hand thing would probably fix it. Do I die if I land on a lily pad? Oh, I almost hit the lily pad. I wish I had. That would have been kind of interesting. Anyway, thank you guys for the super chats and the messages. Appreciate that. In the situation of getting one, I shouldn't have. I'm 17. Dealing with backlash. Can I email somehow? I mean, yeah, but if you go to my website and do the contact form, just hit contact me in the menu. That's probably the best way to get me. You can also, yeah, that's probably the best way. Just go with that. But in the situation of getting a no blood card, well, that sucks. I would recommend signing it and then conveniently forgetting it somewhere. Conveniently not remembering where you left it or whatever, you know? That's what I would do. Good luck with it. That's not good. It's a tough situation, and it puts you in serious danger. I mean, I had a no blood card growing up. If I'd gotten in a serious car accident when I was little, could have killed me permanently. Like, that's not good. It's bad. So anyway, thank you for the message, the super chat. Hopefully you can get that worked out and, you know, conveniently forget that no blood card somewhere. That's important. Okay, let's continue listening here.
But that's not the reality on Capitol Hill. Adam Schiff was out there lying to the American people for a long time, covering up the fact that the FBI and the Department of Justice was going against Donald Trump and essentially weaponized the full force of federal law enforcement against a singular campaign because they did not want them to be president. If you remember Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, the two FBI agents who were discussing on the telephone records about whether or not they were going to interact with some of these whistleblowers or some of the people that they're going after the Russia hoax and the Donald Trump investigation.
Yeah, I remember that Lisa Page thing and whoever else. I don't remember the dude's name now. That was just one FBI agent trying to woo another. That simple as that. It wasn't like some like secret plan to take control of whatever. Like, that's just completely made up. It wasn't this thing where they were going to take control of the government or prevent Trump from getting in or whatever else. I mean, he was just flirting with somebody and said that they'll stop Trump from getting the presidency. Obviously, he was full of it, right? It was one guy, one person saying this. By the way, I honestly believe they should put you at Lookout Landing as soon as you're done in the Sky Islands, because a lot of people don't even know you're supposed to go there immediately after and get the paraglider. They should just put you there because it's confusing to a lot of people.
They were saying that, you know, we got him, we're going to get him. And then they were going back and forth on exactly how they were going to get him, and that they couldn't imagine a scenario in which he was president. And so,
oh my God. Yeah, it was just two people talking that happened to be FBI agents. They weren't even like coming up with like a plan or whatever to stop Trump from being president. And even if they had, that plan was never put into practice or discussed between them. And it was never put into practice either. This is completely made up. This is just propaganda, of course.
So time and time again with our law enforcement agencies, we saw them weaponized against a political candidate. And I'm just scared to death of what we did not find out about the Russia investigation. What didn't we find out about this case or any other case in American history, quite frankly, because drip by drip, bit by bit, it came out over the last few years, and the American people don't seem to remember a lot about it because we've got Joe Biden now and we've moved on to other things. But they could do it again if they're not held accountable, which is why I'm so
not held accountable for what, and how would they even be held accountable?
encouraged that McCarthy and Jim Jordan and all these other folks on Capitol Hill are working every single day to have oversight of the federal government, to hold them to the same standard that they would hold us. They would hold us to a much higher standard if it were Republicans that were doing this. And so I just want some justice for the American people to make sure.
God, this is fabricated outrage. It's painful.
That this never happens to an American president ever again.
I agree. Great. Let me show you this, Luke. Look at this. This is Tim Young post. Watch Karine Jean-Pierre pushing the Russian collusion hoax back.
Okay, if you don't know Karine Jean-Pierre, she's the press secretary for Biden, I believe, now. It used to be Jen Psaki, and she left.
Post. Watch Karine Jean-Pierre pushing the Russian collusion hoax back in 2018. This has been going on a while.
It's not a hoax. Trump really did collude with the Russian government, with Putin, to interfere with the election. I mean, not directly. He didn't have people messing with, like, ballots or anything like that, to my knowledge. They were just spreading propaganda on his behalf, and he specifically requested that they do. As a matter of fact, there's a video of Donald Trump saying, what was it? Let me find this. This is actually important It was like Donald Trump was in one of his stupid little rallies. I'll just explain it since I can't find the exact clip. He's in one of his stupid little rallies, and he says it was like immediate, like days after Donald Trump Jr. met with a Russian operative, a known Russian operative at Trump Tower. And this meeting was investigated. And Trump, like just days after, it was on a Friday, I think, Trump was at one of his rallies, and he says, we're going to have some useful information on Monday for you. It was like, no, it was right before Donald Trump Jr. met with the Russian operative. He says, we're going to have really interesting information on Hillary Clinton on Monday for you. And then nothing came of it, because apparently they didn't have any useful information on Hillary, or they were going to turn it over through a series of cutouts rather than directly through Donald Trump himself. It's probably the emails, the Hillary Clinton emails, I'm assuming. Like, yeah, I can't find the exact clip. This is why I keep all of the clips, because you never know which one's going to be useful. Anyway, Donald Trump said that. I'm sitting here looking through transcripts, and I can't find it. It's kind of disappointing. If anybody has a link to the clip or knows what I'm talking about, please let me know. God, I can't find it. That's really disappointing. I'll do more research into it later. Anyway, the point is Donald Trump most definitely, absolutely colluded with Russia, intended to collude with Russia, and that was uncovered in the Mueller report. The Mueller report was not proven false at all. It was proven 100% true.
Pushing the Russian collusion hoax back in 2018. This has been going on a while. You want to see the clip? Okay, watch this.
I want an answer. Do you think he's guilty?
I think he's crazy.
You think he's guilty?
Yes.
What's he guilty of?
I think he's guilty because he knows.
What did he do?
Okay.
He worked with Russia to intentionally manipulate the election. And the only reason that Mueller said, I don't think he should be indicted, was for his ass-backwards view on indicting a sitting president. You know, in retrospect, indicting a sitting president should be a really, really high bar, but I don't think it should be against the law to do, or against whatever. I think it could end very, very badly if you indict a sitting president. I think impeachment is the remedy for misdeeds. And if there's something he did before becoming president, that should be dealt with after he leaves office, maybe. That was Mueller's position on it, and I understand why he felt that way. I feel like it's kind of complicated. But anyway, let's keep listening here.
Yes,
What's he guilty of?
I think he's guilty because he knows.
What did he do?
Well, he's the one who can answer that. I think.
No, what is he? You said he's guilty. What's he guilty of?
Well, I think he feels that there is something that's going to come out about Russia. Remember, there's money laundering. He knows what the Trump organization has been doing.
You're right about that, they said at the very end. You catch that? She says, there's money laundering. And the guy says, you're right about that. And then they, like, jump away from the clip. Oops. Guess they didn't mean to keep that piece in, huh?
There's money laundering. He knows what the Trump organization has been doing.
Dude, I love it. That's funny.
So what
they don't even know what to say now. Like, oops, we didn't mean to play that far into the clip.
do you think, Luke?
They just seem to have like talking points and one-liners and little like bits that they rush to. Collusion, Russia, working with the Russians, and they just go back and forth and all over the.
Well, it's all true. Trump absolutely did do that.
These talking points because there's no substance behind those arguments. The entire time that they were going through the Russia collusion hoax, and probably still today, Hillary Clinton was saying that the election was stolen from me. Those were her words. She said that Donald Trump is not a legitimate president. He is an illegitimate leader of the free world. But the moment that we call into question some election integrity issues, we're suddenly QAnon conspiracy theorists and are just left to throw out to pasture. But Hillary Clinton.
Well, you are conspiracy theorists. Now, QAnon, I mean, you believe a lot of the same things that QAnon believes, so take that for what you will.
Was out there promulgating this conspiracy theory along with Adam Schiff and all the other Democrats in the Intelligence Committee. They were having closed-door hearings in the basement of the Capitol where they would not allow Republican lawmakers to go into those hearings and just sit and listen to the testimony of.
Dude, what is he even talking about right now? Is he saying that Democrats were just meeting and talking with each other and that was like wrong or something? Is that what he's saying? That's what it sounds like.
Some of the people that they were bringing in front of the committee. And you know why they wanted to do that? They wanted to selectively leak from the intelligence committees. You have to have a security clearance to get into some of these secure facilities. They wanted to selectively leak parts of information from testimony of people that they subpoenaed and brought before the House Intelligence Committee in order to paint a narrative. That's what this is all about.
Like, everything this guy says is a lie. Like I said, if you didn't see this before, he's a propagandist. He's a Republican propagandist. That is his job for Madison Cawthorn, also known as Republican strategist. In this case, he's just pure unadulterated propagandist.
They understand that if the Democratic National Party can get in bed with the FBI and DOJ and then also with the media, they have the perfect way to deliver a false message to the American people. Don't forget that Andrew McCabe lied and said that he didn't leak anything to the FBI. But in reality, Comey and McCabe were leaking things to the media.
Dude, I have no idea what he's even talking about. This sounds made up to me.
They were leaking it into these news.
Like, he's going to have to give me evidence of this. James Comey is only hated because he betrayed Trump, quote unquote, by refusing to side with him. That's the only reason, okay? He's a Republican, a hard right Republican, as a matter of fact. Like, he would be, like, deeply loved by these people if he hadn't effectively betrayed Donald Trump, as they see it. Just absurd and sad.
But in reality, Comey and McCabe were
that's not right.
Leaking things to the media. They were leaking it into these news articles. And then in addition to that, part of the Steele dossier had a Yahoo News article that was in that dossier into the Steele dossier. It was like
the Steele dossier, if you don't know about that, that's the one where there was alleged to be a pee tape. And to my knowledge, of Trump peeing on a bed or Trump having prostitutes pee on a bed, I don't even know. In Russia, some bed that Obama slept on, I think, maybe. I don't remember what it was all about. Anyway, there's supposed to be a P tape. And the Steele dossier was, in my opinion, false and shaky and not that good. Not a good source at all, and used terrible sources in it. But it was never part of an investigation. It was just part of Hillary Clinton's Oppo research for her campaign. Plain and simple. Trump had all kinds of crazy stuff on Hillary in his Oppo research file. The Steele dossier was released by, I forget exactly who. There's a specific guy. Daniel Steele, maybe? Is that his name? Anyway.
I could go on and on and on, but it's just incredible how false some of this material has been.
Yeah, let me change topics here. Lucas, I'll go to you because you're sitting there. I should use you.
That's what she said.